here's another one for the sampling today. Jesus Christ. Well, it is listed as YA, so I imagine BookTube will be all over this. But it's called Crown Chasers. They can make the rules, but they can't make her follow them. Tee-hee! She's a special girl that rebels against everything. Okay. Yeah, definitely not my wheelhouse. But let's get this started. Prologue. The Otari came here to die. The storm is no place for a living thing. Wind and sleet howl through the ravine, thick greenish clouds tainting what little light reaches the cold planet's surface. The cliff face is bare, just slick black stone eroded by poison rain. The center of the basin has turned into a mud and a half meter thick, where one misstep would mean a slow suffocation. And yet a figure moves through the mire. I have to wonder, is it like kind of popular to basically be kind of like in this semi-present tense? Just wondering. Back to the story. The Otari pauses to get his bearings and leans against an outcropping. The light from his wrist-mounted display is barely visible in the maelstrom. He raises his head, looking back the way he had come. Surely this is deep enough, far enough, remote enough. After a moment, the Otari trudges on. It, at least this is a little bit more readable than the other sampling. His survival suit is standard issue, airtight and lightly armored, with heavy-duty gloves and boots and the dome of a helmet. But all insignias and labels have been stripped away. The computerized wristband is rudimentary, no geopulse or satellite link that might be scanned or tracked. Electronically, magnetically, the suit is invisible. Its occupant is just as much of a ghost. He had a name, but he left it behind long ago, dedicating himself to serving the throne by joining one of the most secretive elite forces in the Empire. His face exists on no database. His flesh has been scrubbed of any identifying marks. There is no one who knows him, no one who missed him, no person or creature left alive who will remember him. He's mastered the art of disappearing, of passing through spaceports like a wraith. Another face in the crowd. This has been his life. His journey has taken weeks, hopping from planet to planet, following a seemingly random path across the quadrant to confuse any who might be following him. No one can know his task or final destination. Every precaution has been taken to ensure he cannot be tracked. Again, it's more readable than the other one. But the thing is, like, I wonder why so many people open up kind of like somebody just going about their daily, whatever their daily routine is. Personally, I rather open up with a little bit of a mystery or, like I did with Talir, like shit's hitting the fan right now, like boom, you know. But again, that's just my personal preference. At least again, this is more readable. But let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, and yet he still glances over his shoulder as if something might be watching him in the dark. His eyes shift back to the ravine a little farther. The wind picks up, buffeting his suit. The howl was deafening, screaming through the canyon. The Otari pushes on, wedging himself between two rock faces and shimmying down to where no light is visible. Under the rock shelf it's drier, the wind softer, and the howling reduced to a low whimper. This is it, here. From a secret panel on his suit, the Otari extracts the objects he's carried with him for so long, the item he's kept hidden until this very moment. It's a small thing to be so important. A flat platinum disc about the size of his palm, the royal seal. As his gloved fingertips touch it, the surface ripples, revealing a slightly raised emblem of the United Sovereign Empire, an array of luminous pinpricks representing the allied planets, joined by a faint geodesic lines, and on top of that a crown situated over the crest of a Fossati family who currently hold the throne. Soon, very soon, he imagines that crest will disappear. At the back of the small cave is a pile of rocks, almost like an altar. Perfect! He places the seal there. The Otari returns to the mouth of the cave and glances at the sky, wishing for a moment of sunlight, just a glimmer of reward, after all he's done in the service to Solaris, even walking away from the war gods of his childhood. But the planet is too cold, the storm is too violent. It's all right. He brought a bit of everlasting light with him anyway. Keeping his eyes up and open, he unlatches a small panel on the collar of his suit and presses the button underneath. Heat flares against his sin, so bright, so fierce, so much like redemption. He's been drifting in cold, empty space for so long. Excuse me. Ooh. That came out of nowhere. Thanks, allergies. But yes, let's see. A prayer rises reverent to his lips, and a ripple of fire and light consumes him. His body crumples to ash. The cave goes dark again, and the wind moans. Though no one knows it the chase is on. So basically, that prologue opening was somebody that basically it went all for you, mysterious character we don't know about yet, and then explodes himself. Yeah, at least it was more legible. Um, I guess I could continue on a little bit more. Stardate, random numbers. In the year 4031, under the rule of Emperor Altair Fosharti. Yeah, I'm probably messing up all the names. Oh well. Stars and gods bless him. Long may he reign. Location: on orbit around Apex on the best damn ship in the universe. Something crawled up into my skull and died. I've seen it happen before. A guy named Holder Oktay. He was the best black market circuit hacker in the quadrant until one day all his craft just slipped out of his brain. He got this twitch in his leg that he couldn't steady, and his eyes started rolling back on the regular. Bright lights made it worse. That was a big red flag. Some Solari came around talking like old Holder was divinely touched and getting messages direct from Solaris. But I told Holder to wait before he went full profit and helped him splurge on a medbot instead. The android went up through Holder's nose and fished out this thing, about the size of a hangnail, but with pincers and suckers that looked terrifying under a microscope. Memory worm. Little bastard was camped out in Holder's hippocampus. He picked it up doing an under-the-table job for Ygrisil Merchants Guild on an abandoned planetoid. This is why I never fly a job without a med plan. Long story shorter, I brought that specimen off Holder, turned it over to the Explorers Society, got a badge for exotic plastodium, and a tidy infusion of credits, and have been dealing with low-grade memory worm paranoia ever since. This isn't some sort of brain insect. This is thanks to 13. 13! That's our Alyssa Farshot, always breaking records, thank you very much. Juniper Twists I drank last night, which means I've got the same sampling... No. Which means I've got the same splitting headache and sensitivity to light that Holder had, but with an unwelcome coating of sticky sugar and bile gumming up my mouth. Nice, Alyssa, real nice. I roll over on my cot and groan. I feel the cool laminate of my pillow against my cheek. Wait, not my pillow, not my cot. I know that sensation and that burnt toast smell. I passed out on the galley dining table. I don't want to open my eyes. Beside the supernova-sized hangover, I know what I'll see. A mess. Last night's celebration got a bit out of hand. I don't want to experience the aftermath. I could scrape the world cruiser. I could scrap the world cruiser, take my latest paycheck from the society, and trade up to a newer model. The Vagabond Quick, my baby, is several years old, but she has some decent upgrades and in way better shape than you think given the hell I've put her through in the past 3 years. Okay. So, yeah, this is a little bit more readable than the other one, but it still has that same kind of this is the, protagonist that's trying to rip off more Firefly type aspects, like the rough and tumble, spacer captain. I'm just not really into all that stuff right now, because everybody and their brother wants to either be the next Game of Thrones, the next Farscape, sometimes, and even the next Firefly. I'm like, nah, it's just not ringing with me. And the thing is, even with most first-person narrations with some stuff, they make the character pretty self-centered, or yes, we gotta make sure that my character's a drunk or something. Which I guess comes into the fact that I'm trying to remember who mentioned it. It might have been David Stewart, but how quirks, or it could have been between David Stewart and Brian Niemeyer, but something about how quirky characters, the quirks are often made into being like detriments to the character, but that's not really what quirks are. Quirks are kind of to me, quirks are kind of like ticks. If Harrington gets really pissed in the Honor Harrington series, her mouth starts to tick. The one corner of her mouth, because she's that livid and angry. That, to me, that's a little quirk. Far too often, I guess for some people this is their bread and butter. This is their jam. But for me, it's just no. YA is flooded with characters like this lady. The I'm so special girl, and I will rebel against authority. It's like, okay, are you going to have a better rebellion against authority than, like, I hate this dude in particular? Yeah. So there you go, folks. 2 samplings in one day.